Now that the new generation of consoles are out, people can finally decide on which one of the three they want to purchase. Kids can bitch and moan about the minutiae of these consoles, whether it's which has the better controller, online features or resolution count, but at the end of the day it all falls back on the exclusive software. Don't get me wrong, having solid third-party support is always a major asset to any console, but it's the exclusives that help drive the initial sales. What game does one console have that the others don't? With that said, I'm going to start off by listing the top 5 PlayStation 4 launch games, and more specifically, the launch exclusives. So you won't find any of these 5 games on Xbox, PS3 or Wii U. Well, at least when this video is made anyway.
You're persistent. I respect that.
Number 5. Knack. We start off the list with a game that's had, shall we say, mixed reviews. Despite Knack's child-friendly appearance, it not looking too dissimilar to a Pixar or DreamWorks animation with its bright and colourful visuals, Knack is a surprisingly brutal and challenging beat-em-up platformer. Now, challenging games is usually a good thing, especially with the abundance of overly simplified kids games these days, but Knack's challenge often lies in cheap-feeling deaths that derive from its wooden and sterile combat. It's not terrible or broken at all, and can be rather fun building Knack's size by collecting relics to grow from a foot tall to eventually being bigger than a house and squashing once difficult enemies with ease. It's a shame then that enjoyable feeling of progression only happens between long sections of boring and repetitive gameplay of fighting the same enemy types again and again. Knack does have some lasting appeal with challenges, collectibles and 2-player co-op, but with it being incredibly mediocre, not to mention currently being way overpriced at full retail, this Sony exclusive becomes equally as difficult to recommend.
Looks like you'll need to take the long way. Sorry.
Number 4. War Thunder. Coming from developers Gaijin Entertainment, the folks behind IL-2 Sturmovik and Apache Aerosol, is this rather in-depth free-to-play MMO combat flight game. However, don't let its flight sim exterior intimidate you, because after a short in-game tutorial you'll discover that the controls are simply enough to pick up and play, but still tough to master. The main hook of War Thunder is picking a nation, then taking your plane into an online battle and earning in-game money by taking down as many opposing aircrafts as you can. Once you yourself have been taken out, you return back to your hangar where you can use the money you've earned to upgrade and customize your plane, or you can fund research in order to acquire new aircraft and crew, essentially giving you extra respawns for online battles. Obviously, with this being free to play, you can speed up the process by spending real money, but thankfully the game rewards you enough to give you a sense of progression. For example, I still had a lot of fun in the hours I played and I didn't even spend a penny. The only omission with War Thunder on PS4 is the current lack of ground-based vehicles which are present in the PC version. Until that inevitable update, War Thunder on PS4 will remain the fun and enjoyable, albeit somewhat stripped back flight combat MMO. Number 3. Warframe. Here we have another previously PC exclusive online free-to-play game with war in the title. Warframe, however, is a very different beast, as you and 3 others hop from planet to planet collecting loot and mowing down the hordes of enemies. Think Borderlands, but combined with the combat flair of Vanquish, if only for the ability to slide on your knees. Warframe may not have the character or charm of those 2 games, but it certainly makes up for it with how deeply customizable your Warframes are, making its already fun gameplay all the more addicting. However, be warned that Warframe can become crazy expensive if you want to speed up your progress early on. Because whilst the gunplay is enjoyable enough to grind out experience points, the same can't be said for the environments and mission types. So expect lots of samey space corridors early on with simple objectives like destroy target X or capture target Y until Warframe starts adding some variety, which can take quite a long time if you're not prepared to open up your wallet. But let's not forget, you are a freaking space ninja, and that's awesome.
You've been seen. Ready your weapon.
Number 2. Resogun. Speaking of ninjas in space, Resogun is the delightfully gorgeous space shmup that requires ninja-like reflexes. This old school bullet hell shooter brings the genre onto the new generation of consoles, adding its own unique spin, quite literally. You see, Resogun has you piloting your little spacecraft on a rotating plane that's shaped like a cylinder. What may sound gimmicky at first actually helps you see what would be off screen, whether that be more enemy ships to keep your score multiplier, or saving the little neon humans for huge bonus points and the occasional upgrade. Resogun has a neat risk versus reward style going on, which becomes more apparent on the harder difficulty settings, and it's there where things can become pretty insane. It's a shame that the same can't be said about the stage bosses, which are disappointingly easy compared to the stages themselves. Other than that, Resogun is a joy to play and really addicting to boot. Any PS4 owner should have it in their virtual library, but I wouldn't say it's the true showcase for the system.
Armageddon.
And number 1. Killzone Shadowfall. On the surface, Shadowfall looks like just another Killzone game but prettier. However, this PS4 launch title shakes up the formula just enough to keep it feeling fresh. For a start, most of Shadowfall's environments have a much more open feel than any other game in the series, often with more than one way to achieve your primary goal. You can go in all guns blazing or opt for a more stealthy approach, all the while you're aided by Shadowfall's newest addition, the Owl Drone. With it, you can summon a zip wire to traverse the larger environments, summon a makeshift shield, emit an EMP implosion, or use as a mobile AI controlled turret. It's with this sense of choice that makes replaying through the 8 to 10 hour campaign all the more appealing. It's not perfect, however, as the Hellghasts are pretty dumb and enemy respawns are a constant annoyance, but really, for me, the one reason to play Killzone Shadowfall is for its multiplayer. This is quite possibly the most fun I've had with my PS4 so far, with the class and team based system of the likes of Battlefield, but with a much tighter and intimate feel. And moreover, it runs almost flawlessly. I never got kicked from the server and only once experienced slight lag in my 10-hour playtime online. As of right now, Killzone Shadowfall is the best reason to own a PlayStation 4, in my opinion. Whether or not these games are enough of a reason to buy Sony's new system is completely down to your own personal choice. If, however, you do already own a PS4, then let us know what your favourite game is, exclusive or otherwise. Hope you liked the video and stay tuned to Project Falcon Punch in the closing days of 2013 for the best Wii U and Xbox One exclusives.